Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Have you ever felt like every door in your life has closed at the same time? Like no matter how hard you knock, nothing answers back except silence. You pray, you cry in sujood, you wait for weeks that turn into months, months that turn into years, and still the job doesn't come. The marriage doesn't happen. The sickness doesn't lift. The loneliness doesn't leave. You start to wonder if Allah has forgotten you. You start to wonder if there's something wrong with you. If maybe you don't deserve what you're asking for. If maybe this is simply how your life is destined to remain. And if you have ever whispered, Ya Allah, why into the darkness of your room when no one else was awake to hear you? Then what I'm about to share was written exactly for that moment. Stay with me until the end, because the final part of this reminder might completely change the way you see everything you are currently going through. There is a verse in the Qur'an I want you to sit with before we go any further, because it holds a secret most people scroll past without truly absorbing. Allah says in Surah At-Talaq, and whoever fears Allah, He will make for him a way out and will provide for him from where he does not expect. Read that again slowly. Not from where he expects, from where he does not expect. This means the very door you keep staring at, the one you keep begging Allah to open, might not even be the door He intends to use for you. Your relief, your rizq, your healing, your marriage. It may arrive through a path you have never once considered, a path currently invisible to you. And this is precisely why the waiting feels so confusing and disorienting. You are watching one door with all your attention, while Allah is quietly working behind a completely different one. Pause here for a second and think honestly about your own life. Think of a door that closed on you years ago, a relationship that ended, an opportunity that slipped away, a plan that fell apart right when you needed it most. Back then it felt like the end of the world. Now looking back with the clarity that only time provides, are you still devastated it closed? Or are you quietly, privately grateful? This is not a coincidence repeating itself in your life by accident. This is the mercy of a Lord who sees the entire map of your existence while you can only see the small room you are currently standing in. Allah tells us in Surah Al-Baqarah, but perhaps you hate a thing and it is good for you. And perhaps you love a thing and it is bad for you. And Allah knows while you know not. This is not a verse to memorize for a moment and forget by tomorrow. This is a verse to hold on to every single time your plans collapse in front of your eyes. Let's talk about a young boy named Yusuf alayhi salam, thrown into a well by the very brothers who were supposed to protect him, sold like an object into slavery in a foreign land, falsely accused of a crime he never committed, locked away in prison for years of his youth, forgotten by the very people he had once helped. If anyone in human history had the right to say Allah had abandoned him, it would have been Yusuf in that moment. But he never said it. Not once. He kept his heart soft, his character upright, and his trust intact, even while surrounded by darkness on every side. And what happened after all of that? Years later, that same boy who was thrown into a well became the trusted treasurer of Egypt, reunited with the father who never stopped waiting for him, and given the strength to forgive the very brothers who tried to erase him from existence. Every humiliation he endured was quietly preparing him for a position of honor he could never have reached through any other path. The well was never the end of his story, and the prison was never the end of his story either. Whatever pit you feel trapped in today is not the end of yours. Now picture Musa alayhi salam standing at the edge of the Red Sea with Pharaoh's entire army closing in behind him. His people were terrified, certain that death was seconds away, certain there was no possible way out. And in that impossible, suffocating moment, Musa said something that deserves to live permanently in your heart. No, indeed, with me is my Lord. He will guide me. Notice he didn't say, I have a backup plan. He didn't say, I can see a way out. He had no way out. What he had was certainty in Allah, and that certainty was enough. Moments later, the sea split open. Your current situation may feel exactly like that sea right now. Blocked from every angle you can see. Impossible by every calculation you can make. But remember, you are only seeing it from the shore. Allah is seeing it from a place you cannot access. Think about Ayyub, alayhi salam, tested for years with an illness that consumed his body, with the loss of his wealth, with the loss of his own children, one after another. And still, when he finally turned to Allah, his words were gentle, almost hesitant. Indeed, adversity has touched me, and you are the most merciful of the merciful. He did not demand an explanation. He did not accuse Allah of injustice. He simply reminded Allah, who needs no reminder, of exactly who He is. And Allah removed his suffering and restored to him even more than he had lost before. If your body feels like it's failing you right now, if you're exhausted from pain that no doctor can fully explain or fix, understand that Ayyub's healing did not come because his patience was flawless. It came because he never let go of Allah, even while everything else was falling apart around him. Ibrahim alayhi salam was thrown into a blazing fire built specifically to end his life because he refused to compromise the truth. And Allah spoke directly to that fire. O fire, be coolness and safety upon Ibrahim. The very thing engineered to destroy him instantly became the very thing that could not touch a single hair on his body. Sometimes the situation that looks like your destruction is actually operating under Allah's direct command to become your protection instead. And then there is Maryam, alayhi salam, alone, pregnant, facing a society that would never understand what she was going through, in what was likely the most terrifying and isolating moment of her entire life. Allah instructed her to shake the trunk of a dry, lifeless palm tree, and fresh ripe dates fell down for her to eat. A dry tree producing fruit on command. Because when Allah decides to provide for you, He does not require normal circumstances to align first. He does not need the economy to improve or people to suddenly become kind or the timing to make logical sense. He can bring provision from a tree that has no business bearing fruit at all. Your circumstances appearing impossible has never once been a limitation for Allah. Ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you practiced real tawakkul? Not just the word itself, but actually loosening your grip and placing the outcome fully into Allah's hands. Tawakkul is not sitting still and doing nothing while waiting for a miracle to fall from the sky. It is doing everything within your power first, and only after that, releasing the result to the one who truly controls every outcome. The Prophet said that if people relied upon Allah with true and complete reliance, He would provide for them the way He provides for birds who leave their nests in the morning with empty stomachs and return in the evening completely full. Notice that the birds still fly out. They still search. Their sustenance is not something they manufacture through anxiety and overthinking. It is something Allah delivers to them through the combination of their effort and their trust. Sabr is not simply enduring pain silently. Sabr is enduring while still holding on to belief in the outcome. Allah says in Surah Al-Baqarah, and give good tidings to the patient. Not to those who never experienced struggle, but specifically to the patient ones. The ones who felt the full weight of hardship and still refused to abandon their prayer mat, still refused to abandon their character, still refused to abandon their hope. That patience is being recorded and rewarded moment by moment. Even during the nights you believe no one is watching you. Have you ever noticed that the moment you began making istighfar consistently, small shifts started happening in your life that you couldn't fully explain? This is not superstition or wishful thinking. It is an actual promise from Allah. Regarding Nuh's message to his people, Allah says, ask forgiveness of your Lord. Indeed, He is ever forgiving. He will send rain from the sky upon you in abundance and give you increase in wealth and children, and provide for you gardens and provide for you rivers. Istighfar is not only about erasing sin from your record. It is a means Allah has placed in this world for opening rizq, easing hardship, and softening the difficulties surrounding your life. When your heart feels heavy and you don't know what else to do, say astaghfirullah, not as a mindless habit, but as a genuine and sincere return to Allah. Understand something about rizq that most people never pause long enough to consider. Your provision was already written for you before you were even born into this world. The Prophet taught that a soul will not leave this life until it has completely received every portion of provision decreed for it. This means whatever is meant for you is already on its way. It cannot be permanently stolen by someone else's jealousy, cannot be delayed forever by someone else's scheming, and cannot be lost simply because you missed one opportunity. It may arrive late according to your own calendar, but it will never arrive late according to Allah's perfect timing. Why do some du'as take years to be answered, while others seem to be answered almost instantly? This is one of the deepest mercies that many believers misunderstand. When your dua feels delayed, Allah is not ignoring you. He may be perfecting the timing around it, preparing you to properly receive what you're asking for, or protecting you from receiving it before you're truly ready to carry its weight. The Prophet said that a servant continues to receive a response to his supplication as long as he does not become impatient. Saying, I supplicated and I don't see that it's being answered. Allah loves the one who keeps knocking. He loves the one who keeps asking, even after the 10th time, the 100th time, the 1000th time. Your persistence in dua is not irritating to Him in the slightest. It is beloved to Him. Imagine, just for a moment, if the very reason your dua hasn't been answered yet is because Allah wants to hear your voice call out to Him again tonight. Imagine if the delay itself is Allah's way of extending your closeness to Him a little longer, simply because He loves the sound of a sincere heart reaching out to Him in the stillness of the night. What do you do when nothing seems to be changing? When you've made dua for months and your situation looks exactly the same as it did before? First, examine what you're consuming, whether your rizq might be mixed with something impermissible, whether your heart has hardened from sins you haven't yet turned back from. Second, increase your charity, even something small, because the Prophet taught that charity does not decrease wealth and that it extinguishes trials the way water extinguishes fire. Third, renew your intention. Are you only asking Allah for the dunya, or are you also asking Him for what will benefit your akhirah? And finally, trust that things appearing unchanged from where you stand may mean that everything is quietly shifting behind the scenes in ways you simply haven't been shown yet. Be careful of shaitan during these exact moments, because his primary weapon against you right now is not major sin. It is despair. He wants to convince you that Allah has left you behind, that your prayers are pointless, that your effort means absolutely nothing. Allah warns us clearly, and despair not of relief from Allah. Indeed, no one despairs of relief from Allah except the disbelieving people. Losing hope is not a small feeling you can casually brush aside. It is something Allah directly connects to a weakness in faith. So every single time despair whispers to you that your situation is hopeless, recognize that whisper for exactly what it is and answer it firmly with La ilaha illallah. There are signs, quiet and subtle ones, that Allah is preparing something better for you. A sudden pull toward the Qur'an that you didn't have before. A softness in your heart during sujood that feels different than it used to. A stranger's small act of kindness arriving at the exact moment you needed it most. An unexplainable sense of peace settling over you in the middle of complete chaos. These are not random occurrences. These are Allah's quiet fingerprints on your story, gently reassuring you that you have not been forgotten in the slightest. There are simple daily habits that carry barakah far beyond what their size would suggest. Waking for Fajr even when every part of you resists it. Reciting Surah Al-Waqi'ah with genuine presence of heart rather than rushing through it. Maintaining ties with family even when it feels uncomfortable or exhausting. Speaking gently and patiently to your parents. Giving in charity even before you feel financially ready to give. Making sincere dua for others without them ever knowing you did it. These small, consistent actions open doors in ways that cannot always be logically traced. But believers throughout history have witnessed their quiet effect again and again. Hold on to these words from Surah Ash-Shar with everything in you. For indeed, with hardship comes ease. Indeed, with hardship comes ease. Notice carefully that it does not say after hardship, it says with hardship. This means the ease is not waiting somewhere far off in your distant future. It is already woven directly into the very hardship you are living through right now, even if you cannot yet perceive its shape or form. Never compare your timeline to anyone else's timeline. Not the friend who got married before you did. Not the classmate who landed the job you had been praying for. Not the relative whose health returned faster than yours has. Their story was never meant to be your story. Allah is not being late with you simply because He was early with someone else. Every soul is written a path calibrated precisely to bring that specific person closest to Him. And comparison will only blind you to the unique mercy quietly unfolding within your own life. Allah never breaks His promise. Not once. Not to Yusuf, not to Musa, not to Ayyub, not to Maryam, not to a single soul who ever called upon Him with sincerity and patience. And He will not break His promise to you either. Surah Ghafir tells us plainly, call upon me, I will respond to you. This is not a maybe. This is not a possibility. This is a guarantee from the one who created time itself, who is not bound by your clock, your deadlines, or your anxious counting of days and nights. So right now, in this exact moment, I want you to make a quiet promise to yourself. Whatever door feels closed in your life today, do not let it close your heart toward Allah. Keep your hands raised toward the sky. Keep your forehead pressed against the ground. Keep whispering His name even when your voice shakes and breaks. Because the same Allah who split the sea for Musa, who cooled the fire for Ibrahim, who freed Yusuf from the well, who healed Ayyub's broken body, who fed Maryam from a lifeless tree, that same Allah is fully capable of changing the entire course of your life in the time it takes for a single sincere dua to leave your lips. Ya Allah, open for us the doors of your mercy that no creation can ever close. Ya Allah, grant us halal rizq that is abundant, pure and free from hardship and humiliation. Ya Allah, guide us when we feel completely lost and steady our hearts when they begin to waver. Ya Allah, heal our bodies, ease our pain and grant patience to every single heart struggling right now, wherever they may be. Ya Allah, bless us with righteous family, with reunions we have long been waiting for, and with relationships rooted firmly in faith and mercy. Ya Allah, accept our du'as, even the ones we have repeated 1,000 times without seeing an answer, and answer them in the way that is truly best for us in this life and the next. Ya Allah, protect us from every hardship we cannot bear, and grant us the strength to carry every hardship that we can. And Ya Allah, when our time in this world finally comes to an end, gather us among those who enter Jannatul Firdaus without reckoning and without punishment, in the noble company of the prophets, the truthful, the martyrs, and the righteous. Never lose hope. Never stop asking. The door is not closed. It is simply not the moment yet, and that moment is far closer than you think.